Hi everyone, welcome. My name is MoreXP and these are 5 useful tips for Starsector players. I have at least 100 hours into this game, maybe a bit more than that. And the first tip is about storage. Storage in this game is extremely expensive. As a matter of fact, the first couple of times I played this game, I did not know that we could get free storage. And you can get these free storage by using the abandoned stations in the core world. And this is unmodded, by the way, so you don't need any mod to really take advantage of this. With mod, this gets a lot better because you have a lot more abandoned stations scattered all throughout the core world. Storage is about 5 credit to get access to it on any colony from these other factions, and 1% fee and a 1% fee on everything you have available in that storage facility, meaning that by the time you get into the mid game, you could easily get about 2 million to 3 million's worth of ships and items and weapons into your storage facility. 1% of that, we're talking about 20 to 30 grand a month. Now, if you're a new player, that can be very overwhelming. In the base game, there are 3 abandoned stations that you can use. The first one is this one that I'm at right now, and this is the best one for me personally because this station, Astropolis, next to my Wrath, I believe that's what this colony is called, is very good. And I will tell you why this is the best in a bit, but we also have a few others. So let me get out of here and pop this up on the map. Masura is right here. That's the first one. I believe there is one more in Ima. So there's another one right here, the abandoned station, the Siphon abandoned station. The last one is, I believe, in Corvus. Yes, this one right here, abandoned terraforming platform in Corvus. So these are the 3 that you could use and store your stuff in. Now, here's the downside. Abandoned station do not allow you to change certain things. So I can come in here and let's say maybe I have my ships. Oh, sorry, I'm moving way faster than my than my hands want to. So here's my ship. Let's say, for example, I wanted to edit a few things. So maybe I want to remove this hull mod. I can't. And the reason why is because this hull mod, it requires a dock to do that. And that's the downside of these abandoned station. You will not be able to effectively refit your ships. And certain mods you can, certain hull mod you can put, but some of them you can't. So anything that requires dock, so anything like this that says dock right there, you won't be able to do anything with it. So this is why I decided, okay, well, if I'm going to use these abandoned station for free storage, I need to be very close to its colony with dock, because that way I could come here, quickly click on it, do whatever I need to do. I can go ahead and remove this and add it back. And you don't have to worry about anything getting lost. Once you put your stuff in these abandoned station, they're fine. They're good to go. The other downside, and this is something that actually kind of blindsided me, I didn't really see that coming, is that when you have your colony tab open, usually if you have something stored somewhere, you can see it just like that, right? I know that, okay, in Captain Starworks, I have these fighters ready to go over there. I also know that in Sphinx, I have some fuel. But in Astropolis, I have no way of knowing what's in here, right? So let's say, for example, in the inventory, I put, I don't know, let's say 400 supply, right? And then I get out of there. I'm like, oh, I want to see how much I have. Nope. Astropolis is not going to show up. You will never know how much you have in there unless you write it down somewhere or you actually go back to that place. So if you're using all of them, you won't know what's where unless you writing it down somewhere, and that's the downside of that. The number 2 tips that I wanted to share with you, and this one is very quick, is that when you first start this game, you do not want to sell your weapon. And the reason why is because this game is very hard when you first start. Don't worry about this item. I just finished the story mode. That's for another video. In the base game, you don't have a lot of crazy weapons unless you go ahead and try your chance with but we're talking early. That's late game anyway. We're talking early game. Anything that you have as a weapon in this game is extremely valuable. Even something as tiny as a light autocannon that does damage to shield, and it does kinetic damage, which Personally, I think kinetic damage is definitely one of the most OP. Shield weapon with kinetic damage are fairly OP in this game. Hopefully they never get nerfed because I love being OP in this game. So never sell your weapon, because as a new player or as a player who's trying to figure things out, it's always good to have all this weapon early on. Even if you're desperate for money, please go do something else, because you can get lucky where you would maybe salvage something really good, like a nice ship, right? Let's say maybe you salvage like a very good, I don't know, who knows, maybe you salvage a good legion, and then you want to get some weapons on that, but you sold most of your weapon, and that happens. So that's a quick tip for number 2. Especially for a new player, don't get tempted to selling your weapons, because that's just, no, you're gonna regret it. Tip number 3 is about loyalty and sweet money. So as a new player, it can be very tempting to take a commission from one of these factions. Let me see, actually, because you could take a commission from the independents. Do we have any independent on here? No. But what I was about to say is that don't be tempted to take a commission from these factions, because when you first start, you are at a very low level anyway, so the commission you get is not going to be enough. And the reason why is because if you do take a commission from, okay, so it doesn't seem like you can actually take a commission from the independent. No, you cannot take a commission from the independent. But I was going to say, if you're going to take a commission from any faction, is the independent, because they tend to not really get involved into war. If you take a commission from the, let's say the hegemony, for example, you will be at war with other factions, so like the Tritech. So if the hegemony goes to war with Tritech, you will not be able to trade there. You will not be able to go to any of the bars to try to pick up, let's say, a few good missions, especially when you're that small. You will not be able to do that because they will attack on sight. The money that you will make from the commission is just not enough. Now, there is a caveat to that. If you're new, you do play with the stipend, so you get that extra, I believe it's about 20,000 credit a month. If you get that and you get a commission from a faction, you could just go ahead and explore the world, right? You could just explore the sector. That would be what you would do. Generally speaking, I just like to be a free agent because it's much easier. You're free to do whatever you want. Most people will not hate you unless you give them a reason to do so. And typically I do. But yeah, that's tip number 3. Tip number 4, guys, is about acquisition and maintenance of ships. In the early games, people tend to look down on low-tech ships. I mean, in general, people tend to look down on low-tech ships. When I see a certain YouTuber playing, they tend to really favor more high-tech ship. And that's actually something that I do as well. I prefer high-tech ships. But early game, I understand the usefulness and the necessity for low-tech ships. For example, pirate ships and low-tech ships are the easiest one to acquire. And the easiest way to acquire them, first of all, is to look for any type of pirate activities that will usually pop up on the bottom left corner of your ship, of your screen, and then head there. Low-tech ships are just cheap to maintain compared to high-tech ships, but also they are cheaper to deploy. I have noticed that in most of my playthrough, when I play with low-tech ships, they tend to be very easy and very cheap to deploy. So for example, you have a Logic Path ship, the Brawler. This is an OP ship, everybody knows that, for 6 deployment point. This ship is worth more than 6 deployment point. I guarantee you that it is, and it's a very strong ship. Now in this playthrough, I went ahead and got all the all the OP low-tech ship because I really wanted the extra armor since I am not playing with any mods. And this is, I would say, the late game version of low-tech ships. You want to go for all the hedge, high level battleground ships, and you also want to go for some eradicator. You cannot play a low-tech ship fleet without eradicator, and most of these are fairly inexpensive to maintain compared to high-tech ship with almost the same amount of deployment point. Now I would have to do a very good comparison in terms of like how much they all really cost, but they tend to actually cost less in terms of supply, but they seem to cost about the same or sometimes a bit more in terms of fuel when it comes to low tech and high tech. I could be wrong, but if it comes to when it comes to acquiring and maintaining ships, when you're new, when you first start, it's okay to go for low tech ships. Now, that's just a suggestion, to be honest. You could always go for your high tech ships if you want to. War frigates are pretty good as well. I think the Omen is also a pretty good frigate to start with, so you could always go for those. The fifth tip is about the benefit of having the pirate storage ships. In this game, best way to make money, the easiest way to make money, but also kind of the most stressful way to make money, is to trade illegal goods. We're talking drugs, armament, organs, and sometimes it's good to have these shielded cargo. And in the base game, the best shielded cargo ships are pirate ships. The ships with the most space, which have the shielded cargo, are the pirate variant of the Buffalo and the Mule. Now, there is also the Hound and the Cerberus, who also have shielded cargo, but if you want more space in the base game for shielded cargo, you want to go for the Buffalo and the Mule, but we're talking the pirate version, not the regular version. I would actually have to go ahead and try and see if I can find maybe those in the world right now. So the Buffalo, so we have the Mule over here, and this is the regular Mule. There's no shielded cargo on that. And I believe this is the pirate Mule, and yeah, this one has a shielded cargo, and we're talking about 250 worth of space versus, oh, it's the same, 250, 250. So for shielded cargo, and the reason why you want to go for that, obviously I think some of you guys already know, but if you don't know, shielded cargo helps you hide your illegal good while you're being scanned, while you're being stopped by the military fleet or the police fleet in that system. If you do get caught and they want to scan your stuff and you say yes, and they catch that, they catch your, let's say your drug or your armament, they will confiscate it. Like, no, make no mistake, they will confiscate it if they catch it. I believe there's a whole math that's involved in this. I'm not going to explain to you because personally I don't even really understand how it works. It would be me explaining it to you would be like a blind person trying to lead another blind person to a location. It's just not worth it. I'm not gonna embarrass myself, and I'm not gonna lie to you about knowing something that I don't know. What I can do, maybe I'll post the link of the page in the description, or I'll maybe put an image as I'm talking right now to show you what I found. And that's it for me today, guys. Those were the 5 useful tips that I think most players should know, especially for beginner players. I will do more tips like this in the future. Starsector is an amazing game. I am glad that you chose to play this game. I know it can be very challenging, but oh boy, you will spend so many hours into this game if you give it time to actually not get frustrated when you get bullied. Believe me, I've stepped away from the screen a few times just of how frustrating that this game can be, and I've yelled at the screen many times.